Okay guys, continuing where we stopped last lecture, we were talking about loops. We had three types of loops. For loops, we need one, and which is a count loop. A count meaning we know how many times it's gonna loop in advance. So we know we're gonna have an initial value, and we ran this example. Let's say count 0 to count less or equal 50, and let's say cout count, and then I'm gonna do and I don't want an end line here, so I want them all on one line to see the output in a really good way. And remember, we had a problem. I ran a loop over there on the online compiler, and we had a problem. I had to turn off my computer and turn it back on, but now I'm gonna run it on my machine. But let's see this one first. Let's do save G++. We're gonna compile. It's like building Visual Studio. You build -O. All you need to do, this is the same as when you press build, so don't think I'm doing anything extra. And now I'm doing what? I'm running it, where I'm doing the run or debug without, or what was it? Start without debugging. Start without debugging. And here, and why it didn't print anything. Let's see, did it take the cout count. See the condition? Is it greater or equal 50? No, it has to be less or equal 50. Now it should print. Okay, we have to close this. Compile and run, and here we go. 50 numbers. So now we know it's gonna loop up 51 times from 0 to 50. What did I do to in the previous video, and my the online compiler stopped or jammed? We did, let's say, if I want to say, can I count from 100 to 50? Yes, but I have to change this. While count is what? Count is greater or equal 50. While count, I wanna print in reverse. Let's see what happens here. Anybody has a clue what's gonna happen? Where do we go? Let's do clear. Oh, I didn't. And compile, run. What's this? This is what happened to the online compiler. That's why it stopped and jammed. But I can, here I can stop it. It's printing, it's not stopping. Why is it not stopping? Because if you go back to the I'm starting from 100, then I'm checking, is 100 greater or equal 50? Yes, it's gonna print this, and then it's gonna count plus plus, so I'm going to 101. Is it greater than 50? Yes, so, and then printing going to 102, 103, 104, 105. Where did it go to? See, it's going up. It's never gonna get less than 50 so it can stop. It's never gonna get less than 50 to stop. So what I do is I decrement, minus minus. I go from 100 to 99, 98. Let's see if this works. And let's close it. Okay. Compile, same as build in Visual Studio. Run, same as start without debugging. And here we go from 100 to 50. So you can play around with the initial value, end value, and increment, decrement. If I want to print ascending, I'm going to start with the lower number as my initial value. Let's say initial value 1. Then I'm going to go to my condition, which is the end value. I want to count to 10. It's going to be 10. And I'm incrementing. I'm going from 1 to 10. From 1 to 10 incrementing. Can I do it from 10 to 1? Yes. But I'm going to start with my initial value as 10. My end value or condition is going to be greater or equal 1. I'm going to stop at 1. And my update is going to be decrementing in descending order. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It matters in the case where you're going to use the count. Sometimes we do a loop for what? For example, I can do a loop to, let's go back and show you. Don't think the loop is always I'm gonna use count. No. So let's say I have 5 greater or equal 1. Here what you get is, think of it, I get 5 loops, 5 repeats. 5 times I repeat. I can have it as cin. So I can print, I can cin 5 numbers. I can have it cout something. So it can be repeating 5 things. I can do it, calculate something 5 times. To calculate something 5 times. For example, if I want to count let's see, this give me the I want the sum of all numbers between 5 and 1. So I'm going to declare total equals 0, and here I'm going to say, I'm going to calculate. First thing, I'm going to have count equals 5. So I'm going to say total equals 5 or count plus or total equals total plus count, and then I'll say cout total, and here I have an end line. Total sum, let's say. And now I'll do save. And here's compile. Total was not declared in this scope. Total equals 0. I'm missing a semicolon before. Okay, so the end line, I think. Compile. Well, it's not declared in this scope. Let's see what the error is. It's weird, it's giving me that. integer. I forgot the integer, guys. Okay. Total sum is 15. But now how can I, is there a way where to print it 5 plus the 0, let's say total, plus what, showing every iteration what happens? And here's what we're gonna do. Let's see, let's go back to, I want to print every iteration what happens. So here I'm gonna say cout, and I'm gonna say iteration and think of it. Now how can I make it say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? If I'm using 5 to 1, can I do it 5 or count minus 4? It's gonna no. I'm gonna need another counter, but let's leave it now for count and see 5, and I'm show you in the next example how to do that. So count now and end line, and then I'm doing the total equals total plus count, and I wanna see this equation. I wanna see this equation and what's going on. I wanna see this equation and what's going on. 1 minute, Daddy. 1 minute. So to go back, see out, we're gonna do, I want exactly to show every iteration what's going on. So iteration count, and I'm saying total plus count. So I'm gonna have total and I'm gonna say total equals total, and here I'm gonna do plus, and I'm gonna do count, and this should be control copy, should be before the equation, because then I don't want the total to be what? I don't want this total to be the total after the equation. I want it before the equation. Then I'm saying here, so count, I don't want an end line here. I want to equals, and here I have cout total and I think that's enough. Let's check it, run it, and see what happens. But okay, I need an end line here. Let's close this and go here. See, iteration 5, and let's make it look better. let's put one new line, and I want to do the same thing for this. I'm going to do the same thing, control copy. Let's add a C out end line here also. And do C out end line. But I want the next loop to count from 1 to 5. Count is less or equal 5, and I do count plus plus, just to show you both ways. And let's try to grab OK. So here, am I gonna use the same total? Yes, I can do that, but what I need to do here is do total equals 0. Again, set it to 0 before it goes to the second loop, and this is good. And here we can use count, or we can use what? I prefer using I sometimes for loops, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna change I in every place. So here we'll say iteration I, here we say count I, and here let's do it. Okay, let's do it addition first, and then I'll show you the multiplication. Okay, so save, and let's do close. I didn't change this count. Okay, came out to be a little long, but here, let's check it. So it's saying this is the first loop where I have count 5 till 1. I have iteration 5. It's adding total equals 0 plus 5 equals 5. So total now equals 5. The iteration after it decrements by 1. Now I have count 4, and it's adding what? 5, which is this total, plus 4 equals 9. So it's showing me every iteration. What is it doing? Total sum is what? 15. Now if we go to the next loop, it's gonna be this one, starting from here. I have iteration 1, total equals 0 plus 1 equals 1, decrements. That's where we had the I, where I changed it to I, and here I is decremented, is incremented by 1, so I have I2. It's adding it to 1, 3, and both of them gave us the same answer. Total sum equals 15 for the first loop. I just went from 5 to 1, and here I went from 1 to 5. We can do, there's the example where we do the factorial of a number. Remember that one? Okay. Let's do what did we have for the factorial? Let's see, total. Okay, the factorial, we need to print what? See, in a number, let's say n number. If that number was, let's say, f5, what would my factorial be? Factorial is going to be 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, which equals to 20, 60, 120. How can I implement that? I can do it using this way, but I need total to be 1. Why? Because I have multiplication if I had it as 0 here, 0 plus something, it's not going to change it. In addition, 0 won't change anything, but in multiplication it's a big problem. We're going to have it, it's going to stay 0. So we multiply by 1. So here I say iteration, and I say total equals total, and let's change this to multiplication, and I'm gonna have this as multiplication also, and see out total and line. Okay, factorial of, let's say, num, whatever we enter, let's put it this way. This is the sign of the factorial, and I can say equals total, and let's comment this part. We don't need it anymore, or let's take it out. They don't have a comment. Okay, and here I'm gonna have a integer num, the number I'm trying to find the 54, and we'll have a cout, please enter a number to find factorial. I don't need an end line, and I'll do here cn num, and I need to change count to what? Num. I want it to loop from where? From num to that number. Let's see how is this gonna work, and close it. So 405, I'm just gonna check, it's 120, and here if you see it's printing every iteration. What's the result? Now remember, factorial we should declare as long, so if we get big numbers, but we're not gonna have big numbers because I'm not gonna test it on big numbers, or let's make it long class, because integer won't be enough when we get more and more. So now save, and let's try a smaller number. Let's try 4. What did it give me? 24, and it's printing each iteration, and here's the factorial. Factorial equals 24. Let's try what do you think 6 is gonna be? Multiply 6 by 120. It's gonna be 240, 240, 480, and 720. So it should give us 720 on a 6. 720 on a 6. What should it give me on a 7? 720 multiplied by 7, it's gonna be 7 by 7 is 490 plus 540, 5040 or 5400, something like that. Let's see, 5040. So it's doing good. Now I think this is enough for the for loops. You can print. Okay, let's give you one more example. I know I said I'm gonna make it short, but guys, anything extra is for you. let's do get it 4.cpp again, and let's open another file and name it 4.1. and what we're gonna do is, let's say I told you I want to print the even numbers between well, give me a number. The even numbers we want to try to print. Even numbers from between 500 and 600. Or let's do it, print the even numbers between two numbers entered by the user. By the user. So I'm gonna have long, let's take those back to integers. I'm not sure if I need this total now. Integer num1, and let's have num2, which is gonna be the other number. Please enter two numbers, and here's what this is gonna do. cn num2 to find, please enter two numbers to find the even numbers in range. Let's see meaning between them. Okay, and I'm doing this. So now I'm gonna have my for loop, and I'm gonna do some changes, and this is a really good example, an important example. And so count equals num1, count is greater than num2. Is it gonna be this way or what? Am I sure that num1 is greater than num2? No. So now we're gonna have an if statement here. If what? Num1 is greater than num2, then I'll do this, where I have, see, else what? Else I'll do a for loop also, but I'll have what? Num2 as the beginning of my condition, and num2 and count is less or equal than num1. 1 minute, am I doing it right way? So here I'm saying if num1 10, let's say, greater than 5, it's gonna go from 10 to 5. Here I'm gonna go what? If num2 is greater, I'm gonna go from num2 is, okay, just leave it greater or equal num1, and then I have count, and I want to print the even numbers. So let's do save, and let's save it at .cpp. I just want to show you 4, and let's name it even .cpp. Okay, I wanted to show this. So here we're checking. Here we can put the body of the if statement, and this is the body of the for loop. Be careful, guys. And this we can put a body also for the else statement, So now what can I do? Do I know what number I'm gonna start with? Like if num1 is even? No, it can be odd or even. If I'm sure that num1 is gonna be even, I can do what? Decrement by 2. And how can I do that? I can say here, instead of count minus minus, I can say count minus equal to. This, which equals what? Count equals count minus 2. And the way it's gonna go, I'm gonna take a number. Let's say I start with 10. 10 is greater than, let's say, 2. I'm trying to find the even numbers between 10 and 2. Decrement by 2, and I'll have C out what? Count. See out count. And let me test that one, and let's see. I want to test that one to show you better than just talking about it. And what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna comment this part. So what I'm doing, I'm gonna put 10 and 8. I want to print the even numbers between 10 and 8. So let's say even numbers num2 num1, and I'm gonna print count okay. 1 minute, I need this to be control copy. I need it to be here. Anybody knows why? Think of it. Why did I put it here until I tell you? So now here I'm gonna have count, see out count, and I'm gonna have a and then I'll have a see out backslash and backslash n. I want to end lines. Remember, let's see 10 and 8 first. So save this, close this, and let's go back to our code. What are this? Okay. And I'm gonna do G++ dash. Oh, I'm just compiling. Don't let this confuse you. When you press build, okay, expect a semicolon before 4, which is the one. Okay, I got it. So G edit, and I'm gonna say 4 even, and I need a semicolon here. Always fix one error, go back, compile and run. Don't look at the second error. Did I close it? Oh, ooh, I closed the wrong one. Expected unqualified ID before return 0, and that's gonna be line 30. Okay, I have an extra. Let's see. which one is it? There shouldn't be a problem with any. For see out, okay. There's no problem with that one. See out count. Okay. What was the problem? This one is this is for main. Let's see. Oh, why did I do that? No, compile. Okay, now we're gonna run it. Start without debugging. Please enter two numbers to find the even numbers in range. Let's see, sorry, I'm missing an E there. So let's say 10 and 2 even numbers in range between 2 and 10. Okay, because I took num1. Okay, I have to flip it. That's good. What's happening is here I have num2, num1, and I'm entering. So 10 was num1. So here I'm gonna say num1, num2, and I'm gonna have to close it, count. That should be good. And range, and remember, first number I'm gonna input is num1, second one is num2. So now I'm saying even numbers between 2 and 10 are what? 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. So it's right. If I run it again, even numbers, and let's say between 6 and 24. But what if I had here, in this case, in this scenario, what if I had, I'm starting with, no problem starting with an even number, but here I'm starting the loop inside with an odd number. It's gonna give me what? 23, 21, 20, 19, 17. See? So to fix this error now, I'll put, instead of doing count, checking it here, I'll leave count as minus minus, and what will I do is I'll put an if statement here, and we use the mod operator. If what? Count is, if count mod 2, meaning even number, equals 0, what am I gonna do? See out this. Else I don't need it to worry about anything. So now my program is better, but I want to do this. I want to, in the range of, because I'm starting with the bigger one. So let's do clear. Let's compile. This is building in Visual Studio, and this is what starting without debugging, running my program. Please enter two numbers to find the even numbers in range. So my small number is gonna be, now I can start with 7, and let's go to 29. So it's gonna be 29 to 7 even numbers, 28, 26. What if I needed the odd numbers? What would we do? I'll just put mod 2 equals 1. And now let's see. Close this. Compile and run. And here let's have 23 my num1 and 70, let's say, is all the odd numbers. But now what happens if I did 23, the previous one, and I did 5? Didn't print anything. Why? Because I didn't have my else statement, this one. The other situation where if the number I need to check, if num1 is greater, which is in case of 23 and 5, the last one, I'll do this, and I'll do the same thing as I did here. Let's copy this, put it here. I want it to look the same. Always see, making the output look nice. It's better for you. You'll get to understand it much better than just and usually I didn't want to confuse you, but this is how I start my program. I'll say cout \n and this is gonna be odd numbers, and I want an even number. That's the only thing I change if I want it odd or even. Now this should work for both cases where I have num1 greater than num2 and num2 greater than num1. Okay, close it. So I couldn't keep my promise and leave them short videos. Sorry guys, but it's better for you. And I'm gonna have a surprise for you guys on Tuesday. A really nice surprise. So this is this closes this. And what happened? Cout count, and I need one after. I need this. Okay, I didn't close the else, because remember I took it out of the else, and now I put the else back, so I have to close the else. I'm gonna have a question on the final from this one. Surprise, surprise. See who's lucky and gonna watch it. Okay. Clear. Starting my program. Please enter 2 numbers to find the even numbers in range. Now I can put whatever numbers I want. And 1, 1, 0. Now let's do it. Having a big number at the beginning and the small number at same thing. So we're done here, good, but what happened here? 84, 82, okay. I for the 2 and so this is odd even. This explained 4 loops in them. We're gonna go over 4 loops. I'm gonna go do the lab for the later on. So please check back on the videos, guys.